Good morning and welcome to Inside Running on Tab Radio Racing and Sport. Our team will evaluate each race and update Tab Touch markets on the premier meeting of the week. Inside Running is proudly sponsored by Top of the Ladder Gutter Cleaning. Don't risk your safety. Contact the professionals. Contact Top of the Ladder Gutter Cleaning today for a free, no-obligation quote. topoftheladder.com.au. We trust you will enjoy this edition of Inside Running. Proudly sponsored by Top of the Ladder Gutter Cleaning.
Good morning and welcome to Inside Running on this Saturday. A cool change, just 31 degrees today, 25.9 degrees outside. We've got 12 races to work through. We've got Digby, Beacham, we've got Scotty Embry and, of course, Darren McAullay, who's going to have to rest that voice today. 12 races today, Macca, and 11 tomorrow. Busy times.
Yes, it certainly is, and that's as a result of the hot weather, the heat wave conditions, of course, and I think that this will probably be a bit of a trend in years to come. I can see more and more race meetings being abandoned in the summertime than we ever will through the winter. I think that's going to become a stark reality on the racing landscape.
Is it concerning next week that we're looking at another string of 41-degree days at this stage, maybe Friday and Saturday next week?
Good question for Diggs Beacham, who posed that off air here. We were just discussing it a few moments ago in the event of Diggs. Good morning to you. Good morning to you, Scotty, as well, as we bring you in for this brief conversation before we march on into the form for the day. But this is a reality. This is the reality of racing, and if the weather in the summer, and with the parameters that are now, of course, imposed, we are definitely going to see more and more of these circumstances than we ever will in wintertime.
Good morning, Darren, Matt, Scotty listeners. It would seem so. It would seem so. And as Matt quite rightly mentioned, next week it's a nice cool weekend, cool change that we're experiencing over the next 48 to 72. But it does start to crank up again next week, Thursday, Friday. I think Friday's 41 and Saturday's high as well. So, Scotty, as I say, a very good morning to you. It's, as Darren said, it's a reality, but it's left us with 12 races to work through today.
And as we get more and more ability to create tracks that handle rain better and better, a la Bunbury from now on being reintroduced, I think you're absolutely right, Mac. You hope to get through the vast majority of winter, but in summer you're always going to have the weather gods wreak havoc on you. I mean, if it's going to be that warm down here, Thursday's meeting is Geraldton, so I can't imagine it's going to be that much cooler.
It was only 46 there yesterday.
Yeah, the forecast for Geraldton Thursday, looking yesterday, was around 41, 42, so that meeting might be in a little bit of strife.
I was in Geraldton Thursday, Friday.
Apparently so.
Can confirm it was warm.
Warm, yeah. Tropical. All right. Anyway, it is what it is.
And it, I guess, raises the question in regards to, with the Magic Million sales coming up as well, Diggs, any of those races in and around that time, they're very important races.
Well, next Saturday, we spoke to Russell Stewart yesterday morning, and he is not running Golden Kathleen today. He's got a dual-pronged assault on this 2-year-old race. I think she's a daughter of Leonardo da Vinci, and she trialled well, and he said, no, I won't run her tomorrow with a view to running her next week, hopefully qualifying her for the Magic Millions. So let's hope that meeting does proceed next weekend.
Okay. Oh, for the crystal ball to find out how it's all going to unfold. But if the template has been created, and that is the way that racing is these days, we are going to get more and more of these circumstances as time goes on. There is no question. It doesn't stop them from running in places like Queensland or the Territory or anywhere else like that, where they get not only the hot weather but also the excessive humidity as well. But we've got a template here in WA, and that's the way that it is. So the race meeting today has been bolstered to 12 because of that, with 3 maiden races on the card. So we'll get through those as quickly as we can. We might get into this nice and effectively, I think, first up. We'll go through changes first of all before we can get to the markets with Matty Young for race number 1. The opening event this morning is 11.19. We're on a good forward track with the rail a metre out. The first event, the Reliable Asset Maintenance Maiden over 2100. We take out number 7, Rockabye Bonnie, 8 in Lace, and put Jordan Turner on 10, Naughty Love, and 11, Spoken Like a Diva, Natasha Faithful. Jay Turner on 10, N Faithful 11, M Poi was the added rider there for number 12 in Danny Rock. Race 2, the running of the Furphy Maiden. This will go at 11.54 this morning. Take out number 4, Life's a Circus, 5, Majestic Pearl, and 8, Claire Ann. So numbers 4, 5 and 8, 7 to run there in race 2. The third on the card is the Glenroy Chaff Maiden, and this is over 1,200 now, 12.29. Number 1 is out, that is Desert Sleeve, and so is number 12 in Mariah. So the top and the bottom, 1 and 12, both out there. Race number 3 at 12.29. Race 4, the Andrich Cousins Race Day Plate at 4 minutes after 1 o'clock. And here we can scratch number 8, an important scratching too in the context of the speed in the race comes right out, Live Lucky. Number 8, Live Lucky, is out, and so is number 11, Invincible Thief. Numbers 8 and 11 from race 4. Race 5, the Key Clean handicap at 144 now. 1, King's Parade, along also with 4, Paris Calling. The scratchings there. Race 5, take out 1 and 4. To the halfway stage of the meeting, race 6, the Ascot Mile, the feature by name, at 2.24, and it's a field of 6 runners only there. Race 7 on the card, and the Tab Touch West Speed Platinum handicap will go at 5 after 3 over the 1,100 metres, and we don't have any scratchings or other alterations there. Race 8, the Peters Investments handicaps at 3.42. That is clear. Race 9, the Amelia Park handicap at 4.21, and no changes to come there. Race 10, the Bisley Workwear handicap. We see the scratching of number 11. That is Come a Little Bit Closer. Number 11, Come a Little Bit Closer out of race 10. To the 11th on the card, the Morley Growers Market handicap. It is clear. And to the final race, the Petaluma handicap at 9 minutes after 6 o'clock this evening, ending a very long day of racing. There are no changes, so a big field there, a capacity to round out the last on the card. Okay, that's the look at the changes for the day. It's 10 minutes after 8 o'clock. We might take the first of our breaks, I think, here for top of the ladder gutter cleaning, and be back to march on through the early part of the program with markets from Tab Touch being looked after today by Matty Young, Digby, Beacham, and also Scotty Embry. But stay with us right here on Tab Radio.
You're listening to Inside Running, brought to you by Top of the Ladder Gutter Cleaning. Don't risk your safety, contact the professionals. topoftheladder.com.au.
Welcome back to the Inside Running broadcast this morning for Top of the Ladder. We've got 12 races to get through. We'll jump straight into the first. It is the Reliable Asset Maintenance Maiden, 2,100 metres, 7 and 8 scratched. Under $10 we're looking at here. 2 demonstrations, $7. 3 a larger one at $3.90. 4 the Candy Kid at $4.25. Royal Law $6.50. Down to 12 Dania Rock at $7.50, and 13 Canellan's Legacy at $9 here, Macca.
Okay, I think we'll march on through the early part of the program with these maidens nice and briskly if we can, thanks, gents. And the first for the day, we get a field that have had collectively probably about 95 starts and never won a race. So give us your thoughts there in regards to the first digs.
I thought the effort of a larger one down there at Bunbury last month was good. Out to 2,000 metres, settled in a rearward position and was good to the line. So from a better gate today, Scott, I was thinking a large one out of Steph's yard. We know that Steph was able to prepare Soldanell to win on Wednesday. Was a very good chance in a wide open affair. And
probably a beneficiary of having his second crack at a staying trip. It was first time to 2,000. Now he's had a bit of grounding. You're right, he's got a better barrier draw. And if Steve Parnham can get Soldanell to go straight, hopefully he can get a larger one to go straight, because that was his struggle in the last 200 metres the other day. He wanted to really roll around under pressure. But I went his way. 3 from 2 demonstration. They're both from the same race. Take away that Class 1 run of demonstration, and his last 2 efforts in maiden company have both been very good. 12, Danae Rock, little filly down the bottom for Bob McPherson. I thought her effort behind Wife Says Yes was quite okay. And 13, Canellan's Legacy, who they truckloaded last start, just never settled at any stage to the eye. So blinkers coming off might be the right decision there. 3, 2, 12 and 13. Obviously the Candy Kid's hard in the market, but last rival came out on Wednesday and got beaten 12, so I'm just not sure about that maiden handicap form. 3, 2, 12, 13.
Okay, yeah, very suspect, the whole thing from my point of view. I'm 3, a larger one from 2 demonstration. 13, Canellan's Legacy, the shades off and fitter for its second go at the trip. And 4, the Candy Kid. 3, 2, 13 and 4. Matty?
Same four numbers as Darren, different order, 3, 13, that's okay. 4 and 2 for me, but thinking a larger one from that gate today can settle handy and be too strong at the back end of the 21. 3, 13, 4 and 2.
Okay, 3, 13, 4 and 2, 3, 2, 13 and 4 for Darren, and 3, 2, 12 and 13 for Scotty, race number 1. On to the second, the Furphy Maiden, 1,200 metres is the distance here for this race, and 11.50 for start time. We have number 6 in Magnus Sheen at $3.50, 7 deferred, $1.95, and 9 Princess in Red, $4.20. Double figures the remainder here.
Some well-related horses engaged in race 2, Scotty.
It certainly is. Deferred the half to Magnificent Andy, Magnus Sheen half to Demolish and Flying Missile, Princess in Red half to Dom to Shoot. It's a bit of a who's who of pedigree books there.
That's right. And, of course, you've got Just Famous or Justify out of Celebrity Dream, so another very good family.
Yeah, I don't mind these next two maidens, this one and race 3. I think that the winners you will probably see, if they go according to script, racing on a Saturday in races better than this grade. And I thought today was an opportunity for Holly Watson to be positive aboard Deferred. We saw her lengthen quite noticeably and swiftly in that trial, beating Rumba Rhythm, and we'll speak about Rumba Rhythm shortly, but she was dictated to from where she landed the other day behind a smart one in Made in Mexico. I think if they're positive out of the gates and make Magnus Sheen sit in the breeze, that could perhaps be the difference here, Scott.
Agreed. 7 from 6. I thought that they were the two. Princess in Red was very good at trials and worked her way through traffic nicely in that Made in Mexico race. And Just Famous did it tough and kept coming. 7 from 6, 9 and 2. Of course, we didn't mention Kamikaze Shooter, Mac, out of Caipirinha. So there's lots of famous names there.
Absolutely. A nice mare trained by Simon Miller, of course, for the McCrosties. Caipirinha. I'll go with Deferred as well, having a second run for everything that you've touched upon there, Diggs. I think that she'll come on measurably from that. Princess in Red, of course, did lead that trial running, so there's no sort of suggestion here that she has to go back from barrier 8. She could come out and a couple of punches early and be right there.
Well, there's a couple of scratchings which probably work in her favour.
I think it does, absolutely. Yep. I've elevated her as a result of that. And Magnus Sheen as well. Sticky-ish gate there, but I like the way that this well-related filly's progressing along in a maiden. Just Famous I marked down next best, 7, 9, 6 and 2.
7, 6, 9 and 2, same as Scotty for me. Matthew.
Okay, 7, 6, 9 and 2. Shazam for Scotty and Digby. 7, 9, 6, 2 for Darren in race number 2. On to race number 3, which comes up at the time of 12:29. And you can take out 1 and 12. We've got 2, My Hidden Universe, $5.50. 3 is Sensational at $2. $10 about 6, Cincinnati Duke and 7 Bill Selects. $9.50 Secret Attire. $9.50 about that runner, and $6 about Antique Star, which is number 11.
You think Sensational could be a Saturday class horse? I know it's a Saturday race. It wasn't expected to be, but you do think that in real terms it could emerge later and develop into a Saturday class of a 3-year-old?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And I thought the effort first up down there at Bunbury in a slowly run race when he settled in a rearward position was terrific. Scott, I'd be interested to get your thoughts here on Sensational. I thought he was Sensational, sorry. I thought he was one of the... he's odds on now, so the market says that, but I thought he was one of the better bets on the day. I'm expecting him to go there and take care of his opposition today.
I thought that he would be very hard to beat. I thought his first up run was straight into the black book. There was a couple that day of Grant and Alanas that got a long way back on a program where they struggled to make ground, Sensational being one and Terra Tiff obviously being the other later on in that program. Obviously going to get back again today, but I would think that he's going to take some beating. Would they have preferred this to be the 1,300 at Belmont to the 1,200 at Ascot? Absolutely. But it's still going to be hard to hold out. I, however, am a bit of a rap for the John Doyle runner.
Please, you said that. I can't get my head around the price now for Sensational. I just can't marry it up. I think that My Hidden Reserve, on what we saw first up in that trial the other day, I thought that was terrific. Certainly good enough at its second career run to take care of this field.
I thought so too. I actually went the other way, Diggs.
Yep.
I went with My Hidden Universe out to $5.50 now. If you could get one more fluck and get out to sort of 6 and even money, I'd be disappointed if you missed the top 3 in this field. 2, My Hidden Universe. He trialled in earmuffs, but he races in earmuffs, so you watch the trial and what you see is what you get. 3, Sensational, definitely finishing off better than anything else. 11 in Antique Star, and 6, Cincinnati Duke, who worked home nicely through a little bit of traffic, I thought. 2, 3, 11 and 6.
Yeah, I'm with you too, Scotty. I think that My Hidden Reserve can win this over 3 Sensational. The price is way at rock bottom now, I think, for all things considered, and I think the ability of the 2-horse. Secret of Tyre's got some gear changes that have been affected by Luke Fernie there this afternoon. Third run in, going along okay. And number 11 for me, blinkers on at its debut, a Piero filly Antique Star in the cerise and white from the Iconutia Yada Barrier Trial winner. We'll include it into our top 4, 2, 3 from 8 and 11. Diggs.
3, 2, 8 and 6 for me. I'm with Sensational, thinking that he is going to be awfully hard to beat. I like the trial of My Hidden Universe. Thought he was a bit green though, and now he's going to be punching into perhaps a Southwesterly fresh at 1200. So for mine, I just steered away from him. Quite keen 3 from 2 My Hidden Universe, 8 Secret Attire and 6 Cincinnati Duke. Worked through his gears well late in that recent trial down there at Larkhill. 3, 2, 8, 6.
3, 2, 8, 6 for Digby. Scotty with 2, 3, 11 and 6, and Darren with 2, 3, 8 and 11 in race number 3. On to the 4th race, 1:04 start time, and this is over the 1,000 metres. And you can take out 8 and 11 main players. 1 Sinful Living, $5. 3 Golden Veil, $2.25. The 6 What You Got, $8. 10 Earthstorm at $4.80, and double figures remainder.
Yeah, nice field this too. These 2-year-olds that are going around, particularly the return of Golden Veil out of Simon Miller's stable. It's 1 for 1, of course. She's got a bit of X factor about her, and I know that we touched upon Golden Veil Wednesday morning. How do you see the first, the 4th, I should say, what would have been the first of the normal day of racing, with Golden Veil, Sinful Living, who's won 2 of 3, Maddie Girl, a winner at a second run in her career. Horses that may have not drawn as well, like a What You Got, of course. Earthstorm's another that comes out of a really good trial as well, and beat home a smart filly in Define Beautiful. So there's a bit to unpack here.
It's a good race. It's a really good race, and it wouldn't be out of place in, a black type juvenile feature down the track, Scott. There's, look, I think anytime you get to see a horse who had tongues wagging like Golden Veil did back at the races off the back of a soft trial when beaten by a filly by the name of Glasgow Lass, who was heavily supported last week from the moment markets opened and duly saluted like an above-average animal as well, Scott.
That's the best part about that trial, isn't it? And obviously, for those that watched that trial, Graham Ballantyne's horse that finished 3rd was as good as the pair of them. So you start waiting for horses to go to the races. But for Golden Veil, did everything very impressively on debut, straight to the paddock, which is typical, aim them up at something bigger. Preparation, trial was soft, trial was good. I would have thought that she can come out in a very similar manner to what she did on debut and just hold a spot behind the speed. And as much as I love the trial of Earthstorm, with the race experience, with a head start, I just had to side up with Golden Veil.
Well, what I've seen so far, and you might agree or disagree here, I think that she's in the top 3 2-year-olds we've seen so far this season.
Who are the other 2?
Glasgow Lass.
Glasgow Lass, from what we saw the other day, you'd have to think.
One more too many.
In that group.
Sinful Living.
Absolutely. But I think Golden Veil, from what I've seen anyway, I mean,
it's a small sample size, isn't it? But yep.
Just think that she's got that little bit of X factor about her, possibly. Anyway, we'll see how it all unfolds there in the 4th. I'm Golden Veil. Sinful Living, of course, precocious, well-drilled filly there. She's won 2 of 3 so far. The one that you mentioned there, Scotty, and Diggs, is Earthstorm here through the barrier trial, trained by Rusty Stewart. And a filly by Calix. I think this is the very first of the Calixes.
Had a winner on Wednesday at Kenzo.
In Perth.
Yep. Son of Kingman. Stood here for a couple of seasons. So $60,000 yearling purchase. Was a nice type as a yearling. Sold by Jamie Embry. So
where did it win?
The one of Calix won at the Kenzo on Wednesday in Sydney. Yep.
Yeah, no, this is the first in Perth.
Yep.
I was getting to, but of course, he erupted onto the scene so quickly out there in the Northern Hemisphere.
He did. He won at Coventry, I think.
Yeah. One on, I think it might have been opening day of Royal Ascot. We were there. And they said he was unbeatable. And, of course, the rest was history.
Correct.
Making a very good name for himself at stud. So I certainly would be having a very keen interest in Earthstorm. Let's wrap them up there.
3-10-2-1 for me. Golden Vale from 10. Earthstorm, love the trial too. Maddie Girl, I think she'll find the top and she'll be fitter again after being successful, albeit narrowly, after having 6 weeks between runs. And she ran the day that Sinful Living was very good on debut. They both made their debut that day. She gets a pull in the weights from that occasion. 3-10-2-1, Scott.
3 for me, Golden Vale on top just with the race experience. Earthstorm could not have been better at that trial. The fact that she went past Define Beautiful the way that she did is so impressive, because you go to a lot of 2-year-old trials, you watch them trial well, but you think, are the others any good? At least in that trial, you know the one that she ran past has Saturday class ability.
And she powered through the line. So the 1,000's going to be on the short side for her. You'd think a 1,200 later in the autumn is going to be right in her wheelhouse.
Swear to God, Street Parade, Chan Talk, Kiss Bang Love. Rusty Stewart can get his hands on a good 2-year-old, and it looks like he's got another one. 3 from 10, 1 Sinful Living, pretty bomb-proof really the way she goes about it. And 6 What You Got, who was charging through the line on debut. 3, 1, 10 and 6.
It would appear as though it might need 1,200 and every bit of it as well there, and the draw will make it awfully tough. 3 for me, Golden Vale, from 1 Sinful Living, 10 Earthstorm for everything that has been exposed about her trial, and Maddie Girl as well there in our pick 4. So 3 from 1, 10 and 2. Maybe one for later as well as Dave Harrison's filly Bubbles in Rio. I think it's got an element of ability as well.
Had the headgear applied on Monday and jumped away cleanly. She was a little bit slow to step at her initial trial, and it was very good. And there on Monday with the addition of the headgear was much better.
Yeah, blew them apart.
And don't forget about all the money that came for Desert Whisper on debut, and then she did everything wrong.
Oh, and she was terrific. Really, really good. It's a good 2-year-old race, this one.
Yeah, nice bit of depth there. Maddie, we'll check those numbers again. Head off to a break for top of the ladder gutter cleaning before we come back and press on through this 12-event card.
Okay, so 3 across the board. 3, 10, 1, 6 for Scotty, 3, 10, 2, 1 for Digby, and 3, 1, 10 and 2 for Darren in race number 4 on the program. We'll take a break. Still 8 to go at Ascot today.
You're listening to Inside Running, brought to you by Top of the Ladder Gutter Cleaning. Don't risk your safety. Contact the professionals. topoftheladder.com.au.
Great to have your company on this coolest Saturday for racing at Ascot. 12 events. We're looking at race 5 on the card. King's Parade, 1 for Paris Calling. Have both come out there. 10 starters to do battle. Matt Young's operating keys over there at the moment. 2 in the studio, and he has the latest update from Tab Touch on said race 5.
Race number 5 at 144. Main players, number 2, Odinaka at 10. Number 3, In Good Order, 9. 5, Dr. J, 550. 7, Prince of Santos, 750. 9, Premium Girl, 370. 10, Memory Parade at 7. And the 12, Rumba Rhythm at 460 in a wide open race.
I've got to say, Premium Girl, she is a filly that is absolutely flying at the moment on the provincial circuit, Scotty.
Love the way that she went about it last start. It was just, it's beautiful to watch sometimes when the Pontiff gets busy, and he was just in a perfect rhythm with this filly as she was letting rip down the centre at Bunbury, and it's been something that's been a bit of a rarity. We haven't seen many of them let loose like that.
It's funny you should say that, because when you look at the race and you know that it has been a challenge for horses further back than midfield to really have a big impact, but there was, I don't think at any stage in the last 200 you didn't think the way that the Pontiff was in rhythm with her that she was not going to win that race.
No, it was a really, really good effort to charge in the manner that she did, and I think erupt is the right word, because once she was asked for an effort, she just pinned the ears back, and she was genuine. She savaged the line.
Did the same in a maiden.
Correct.
As well.
So, and now the bar plates come off today, so that's a...
And the conditions are going to suit too, because you'll get that early onset of a sou'wester, which they're forecasting, and it'll be a pretty reasonable one, and her pattern's going to suit that. Back, maybe getting a bit of cover, a nice drag to the corner, and then letting go. She is able to replicate what we've seen of her in her last couple of runs.
Exactly right. So clearly a live hope in this race. I think it's a really competitive 3-year-old 1,400-metre affair, to be honest. I think it's a ripper.
Memory Parade is going really well at the moment. has to be one of the chances. You see the returning in good order. Odinaka's a last start winner at 60 plus, and Prince of Santos is also starting to make its way through. It's come off the bottom rung of a maiden, but before that, of course, had produced a terrific performance and had run second to Premium Girl. So Dr. J is another also that's got upside.
And Rumble Rhythm was one of the most impressive replay watches first up from a mile off them in a sharp 1100.
Yeah, very, very good. So there's a bit of depth here.
And that's the way I went, Rumble Rhythm. I like the effort first up. Senior goes on. CJP and Luke have a pretty good strike rate, Scott, I would have thought. I'll be interested to get your thoughts on their numbers maybe for next week if we can, because I would think that they're a pretty lethal combination, CJP and Luke, and I thought the manner in which he got through a gears late, first up, was pretty good, and I'm just thinking today, 1400, if they do ride her conservatively, given she is going to the 7 furlongs, maybe the conditions will suit, and she could well be making her run around the same time as Premium Girls. So, look, I went 12 on top from 5. Dr. J, loved that effort down there at Pinjarra behind Playing Rio. I thought it was very, very impressive in the straight. The form out of the maidens okay as well. 2, Odinaka, up some weight, back in trip, concern there, and 9, Premium Girl, for the reasons I dare say you two gentlemen are going to outline. 12, 5, 2 and 9.
She'll sit on top of my selection. Scotty?
Mine too. Continuing on this love association with Premium Girl, the day that she broke her maiden, she sat 4 deep at stages on the scarp side, and she went straight past them like they were standing still. Prince of Santos was in that race, and now they meet again here today. Premium Girl, Dr. J, I'm basically backing everything at the moment through that Playing Rio race. You saw the strength of the money for Silverback Jack on Wednesday. It was relentless, and they're all going very well out of that Class 1. 7 in Prince of Santos can roll to the top again, and 12 Rumba Rhythm, eye-catching at her return. 9, 5, 7 and 12.
9 for me. Just underneath of it, Memory Parade again through the Playing Rio form again. That's standing up. It had beaten Elite Fashions, who came out and then gave them a shellacking at its next run. So that's strong form. You get a lovely draw. The claim of Maddie Derrick, 53.5. I think that Memory Parade, she's right in this. And 3 in good orders, a 3-year-old that I've got a bit of time for too, and I would expect here that he'll probably produce a very nice run fresh over 1,400 metres. And I'll include Dr. J and the exotics. So I couldn't find a spot for Prince of Santos. I couldn't find a spot for Rumba Rhythm, but such is the depth of race 5. I think whatever you fancy, have something on it and back it with a little bit of confidence
it's
too.
A good race,
there's some ability there amongst those running in race number 5. Matty?
Can we just get a confirmation of numbers there, Macca?
9, 10, 3, 5.
9, 10, 3 and 5. 12, 5, 2 and 9 for Digby. And 9, 5, 7 and 12 for Scotty. Race number 6 at 224, 1,600 metres here. 1 Chevelle de Vargas, $6. 2 No Apology, 19. 3 Weapon Sun, $4.60. 4 Big Screen, $5. Caramundi at $2.50 and 6 Corn Cob, $5.50. It's pay 1-2.
Yeah, feature race today, but by name I would suggest only with a field of 6 running. Speed is obvious. Big Screen, Chevelle de Varga, they'll look after it. Sea Breeze will be in at this stage of the day. Early sea breeze forecast by Bureau of Meteorology, from what we can gather. And talking about pattern, it didn't seem to suit Caramundi last start, but it charged home against it. But I would think that the pattern will suit it perfectly this afternoon. I'm getting a bit keen about Caramundi in this race. Yes, your thoughts?
I know that Diggs has been a long-time follower of Cooramundi. Do you continue today?
I do, yeah. I thought that you're right, Darren. The speed's genuine, albeit it is only a small field, but Big Screen knows one way. Chevelle de Varga will ride the speed. That's the way he goes best. Are they suited at this trip? You could argue probably not, those 2 horses, but they'll be out in front, where you got 2 horses who look well suited at the mile, that being 5 Caramundi and 3 Weapon Sun. And I was just thinking, I don't know, Scott, maybe Caramundi has the back of Weapon Sun and they'll probably make their runs together.
That's probably how I saw it. But for me, Weapon Sun's the massive improver in this race. He draws a gate. He gets weight on those that have been going through this, easing Wild Series.
Gets to 1,600.
He's had 5 starts at the mile marker at Ascot, and he's never missed the top 2. He gets Chris Parnham back aboard today. Gee, I just thought he went up the wrong price. He went up $7 in a field of only 6, and he should get a lovely run, and he probably is a pair in front of Cooramundi. So I went the other way with Weapon Sun. But 5 Curamundi is clearly the one that I'm worried about. 4 Big Screen, 1 Cheval de Vega. You know what they're going to do, but do they sort of at some stage bring each other undone? They each would wish that the other wasn't in the field. 3, 5, 4 and 1. I saw that Corn Cob's in the Inglis online sale too.
He is. He was up a little bit. I don't know if he's reserved or unreserved. Last look yesterday was over 25,000.
He was 49,000 last night.
There you go. So there's money. Hopefully it is unreserved. It'll be interesting to see where he lands. 5 Caramundi on top from 3 Weapon Sun, 1 Cheval de Vega and 4 Big Screen. 5, 3, 1, 4.
He's been retained at Callum's stable. By connections there, Julia Martin electing to stay with the Campbell McCallum yard there with Corn Cob blinkers going on. Don't think he's out of the race either, Corn Cob. Think he'll map up to get a pretty economical run throughout. But I'm with Caramundi as well over Weapon Sun, either really. And then Corn Cob Cheval de Vega, I'll put in there 5, 3, 6 and 1 in race 6.
Okay, 5, 3, 6 and 1 for Darren, 5, 3, 1 and 4 for Digby, and 3, 5, 1, 4 for Scotty in race number 6. On to race 7. This is the Tap Touch West Speed Platinum Handicap, 1,100 metres at 3:05. No scratchings, and main players 4 Swear to God 5.50, 5 Indy Rulers $6, 7 Shaka Zulu at 4.60 or Shaka Zulu. The 10 Vampy at Play $5, and then we go out to number 9 Empress of India at $12 here.
Diggs, yes. This looks a very open affair.
Very open affair. Good race. We get to see Shaka Zulu back at the races. The trial was very impressive. I thought here, Scott, this was a race where there was plenty of tempo.
Does look that way, doesn't it? Yep. Obviously, Swear to God will come out positive, so will Indy Ruler. Make Your Point can go quick, Silken Eyes can go quick, so it's a genuinely run race.
And then you've got a horse like Defending, who we know looks to be going particularly well, but can you trust him at the gates? If he jumps, he's not completely and utterly hopeless. The trial the other day was nice.
Yeah, loved his trial.
Loved the trial. Look, and he's been back. He has to carry the 59, but if he jumps on equal terms, it's just a trust issue with Defending. This is a very wide open affair, Darren.
Yeah, I had a bit of trouble with this one, I might say. So I defaulted back to a mare that I've had a little bit of time for in No Dice. I think maybe down in weight from the draw and the price, around that double figures. And I think that's what you're going to be looking at by and large through the field. So it gets down just to a matter of choice, and it's not with any great confidence, but I thought maybe if we had something from a value investment on 8 No Dice, I thought you could finish up close to the money somewhere. Swear to God, because you know where he's going to be. He'll probably park and ride the speed in the race. Shaka Zulu, its only failure has been on a heavy 8 track. Take out that run, and it's the 3 for 3. So, you know, we know that he's got talent. And I also thought that Make Your Point was good enough first outing for Tommy Wolfe, and maybe it can come on even further and be improved by that outing. So, look, in a wide race, I'm 8, 4, 7 and 12, but clearly in and amongst those selections may have missed the winner.
Well, I've got on top one that you don't have in your top 4, and that is Vampy at Play, who I thought would be the beneficiary from a low draw and good tempo.
I just think the draw's the killer here for her. She just can't build into it, and I've just got a bit tired of her. Like, fair enough, though. I mean, I've been tipping her, and I know she had no luck last start, but yeah, I don't know about Gate 1.
Well, I just thought they'd go hard enough where there might be enough gaps for Steve to be able to get off the rail and get her flowing. And if that's the case, I think with the benefit of a few runs under her belt now, you'd like to think she's probably at peak fitness. If not, she would have been after that run the other day when she just didn't get a lot of good fortune. So 10 on top from 7.
By the way, I've just played her into winning form, having said that, Diggs. You know that.
Yeah, Shaka Zulu, I like this horse. Lightly raced, has some upside. And the form lines out of those wins are impressive. It was a decent enough effort up there in Geraldton at his third only start. 5 Indy Ruler. Luke Fernie's yard's going very, very well, and I thought this fellow was very good, fresh, breezing, and then was strong 2 and through the line, and 4 Swear to God again. That snippy which form line will always get your attention in a race of this nature. 10, 7, 5 and 4.
4 for me, Swear to God. I thought the best part about him was that they rode him to the speed last start on a day where you wanted to lead at Pinjarra, but he doesn't necessarily need to take it up today. He's just as capable parked in behind them. So he's got some versatility, and he's now, hopefully, back in a bit of form. 4 Swear to God, 10 Vampy at Play. The faster they go, the better for her, just so that she gets a bit of room to move. 7 Shaka Zulu. even calling that last run at Belmont a failure, he's only a length and a quarter off Songer, who's a genuine Saturday time.
It was a bit harsh being described as a failure, but it was an unplaced run, I should have said.
And 5, Indy Ruler returned very impressively, 4, 10, 7 and 5.
4, 10, 7 and 5 for Scotty, 10, 7, 5 and 4 for Digby, 8, 4, 7 and at 12 for Darren, race number 7. On to race number 8 now. This is the Peters Investments Handicap, 1,200 metres. Number 2, Rear Admiral at $4.80. The 4, Patron of Kings, $6. $11 about the 6 in Valsacina. The 7 is Comic Hero, $3.60. 8, Madam Magic, $7. 9, Regal Statute is at $7.50.
Well, this is another race too that's got a reasonable level of depth in it. The 8th for the day. Have you come up with anything concise here? I know the form of Comic Hero since coming back's been terrific. The first up victory I really liked, and then that next run, wow, that was just one of those red light runs.
I thought it was the run of the meeting, Comic Hero, last start. He was a mile off them on straightening, and he came out extremely deep, and it was a day that actually wasn't suiting that racing pattern. If we get to this stage of the day today and that sea breeze does arrive, and it's always a wait-and-see job, but if it is there and they are making ground, he should today get his chance to mow them down.
He should. It's funny, though, we sat here a fortnight ago expecting that sea breeze to play a major part, and it didn't come, and you saw horses landing on top of the speed being nigh on impossible to get past. I agree with Scott. The effort of Comic Hero to produce the fractions that he did in defeat were terrific.
I'm going his way today, Comic Hero. I think he can sit back and run past them. 8, Madame Magic. She's got, similarly, a big turn of acceleration when she's kept out of trouble. 4, Patron of Kings. Always beware the undefeated horse, and I've liked his trials. And I'll include 10, Uncle Jared, who's bursting to win a race. He just can't quite find the right setup. Rear Admiral, she's got ability. She's always hard in the market. She's just got another really tricky draw to contend with.
She didn't step the other day, did she?
Imagine if she's 3 deep again today and Comic Hero's on her back. She'll take him into the home corner and then it almost gifts him the run of the race. 7, 8, 4 and 10.
I'm also with Comic Hero, expecting him to be awfully hard to beat. I think he's a horse with genuine upside. The first up win under a big weight was good. The effort the other day in defeat was terrific. The stablemate, I thought, was also very, very good in that race. Didn't get a lot of clear air when she desperately needed to.
Yeah,
Valsacina. So she's got that gate today with which to work from. You'd like to think she's going to get a nice flow into it. If there is a 3-deep line, Paddy will need to be at his best to get her out into some nice fresh air, and if that's the case, I'm expecting her, off what we saw recently, to be awfully competitive. 8, Madame Magic, just didn't get a lot of good luck the other day in defeat. Very, very good. And 4, Patron of Kings. First go at Ascot. He hasn't got a lot of gate speed. He had to be sort of clicked up approaching the home turn and the trial, but he's nice type, no doubting that. 7, 6, 8 and 4.
Absolutely. Always beware the unbeaten horse. He's 3 for 3, Patron of Kings. I'm 7, Comic Hero, for everything again that has been touched upon in regards to its performances so far. Over Madame Magic, I love the way she's going, and Valsacina, I concur. Patron of Kings next best. Just by the way, that sou'wester today is between 30 and 45 k, so it's not a zephyr.
Doesn't get much stronger than that.
No, that's what I'm saying, and they are forecasting very windy conditions later this afternoon or in the early part of the day. So I think that's probably going to confirm what we think in terms of doing form for this meeting.
Hope so.
Okay, we've got 4 to go still. Matty, we'll quickly recap those numbers if we may. I'm there at 7, 8, 6 and 4. And we'll take a break, be back on the other side of it for top of the ladder gutter cleaning.
Okay, 7, 8, 6, 4 for Darren, with 7, 6, 8, 4 Digby, 7, 8, 4, 10 for Scotty, as we take a break here on Inside Running. And
You're listening to Inside Running, brought to you by Top of the Ladder Gutter Cleaning. Don't risk your safety, contact the professionals. topoftheladder.com.au.
Quick cheerio this morning to a good mate of ours in Leith Putland too, the man we affectionately call Lethal. Has a few shares in racehorses, man about town a brewery man for many, many years, and of course heavily involved with the Carbine Club and also more recently with the WA Racehorse Owners Association. Just down on his bumpers a little bit at the moment is the great man. So a big shout out there from everyone involved, all of your mates in racing. Lethal, we are thinking of you and thinking of you a lot, my friend. And also to another well-known name in harness racing, Matty, you'll know Liam O'Connor there, prolific buyer of yearlings and successful owner, successful businessman in Perth and a great mate. And Lethal, Liam and his new wife, Jackie, tied the knot last evening too. So absolutely fabulous night enjoyed by all. So congratulations to both of them, and may they have a very, very happy life together. It was a wonderful, wonderful evening. So let's have a look at race number 9 now. This starts the quaddie today. 4:21 they'll go, the Amelia Park Handicap. And no changes there in that event.
Yep, race number 9 and 1,800 metres. To Speak to Me, 650, with 6 All My Money at 650 and 8 Filthy Habits at that same quote. $10 Royal Gap at 650 Alaskan, and the 12 Queen Nardi is at $5.
Open race again. Diggs, some of these towards the back end of the day.
Yeah, I
Very
agree.
even.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
I think if you're finding the quaddie, you'll be very well rewarded. And I've gone for a horse who probably hasn't rewarded her supporters all that often, and that is the 9, Kia Aura Jewel. I think all 3 runs this time, Ian, have been...
Stop it, you're getting me excited now. I thought I had a for myself.
Oh, well,
go.
Let's hope that we're rejoicing after race 9. As I said, I think all 3 runs have been good, and that effort over the 1,500 down there at Pinjarra midway through last month behind Bonjoy. Now, that was a day when it was hard to make ground. Yes, the winner did, Bonjoy, courtesy of a William Pike masterclass. But she defied the pattern on that occasion. The first up run at a big quote was luckless, and then she was in pretty handy company, black type company, at her second start this campaign in a wide open affair on a day when you're probably going to be able to make ground. I thought at an each way quote she wasn't the worst.
The record at this track is not great, but the best part of a record is at 1,800. So she's had the 3 goes, 2 placings, and whilst the 10 runs here have only yielded 2 placings, it's at this journey that I think that she could be right at her absolute best. So I concur with you completely, and I think that she's just great each way value.
It's that sort of race, Scott, I thought.
I'll be getting the first leg of the quaddie because I'm going to bail out and hit the FD button. And just get myself through, because there's so many hard luck stories in recent runs from this field. Look, a mare like Kiora Jewel, I understand she's going to get her chance today, and you can sell yourself that you basically push her track record to the side, because if she had 10 starts at Ascot, she's probably struck 8 leader bias tracks throughout her days. That's just racing at Ascot. The patterns, those with negative racing patterns, aren't normally well suited. Today should be the outlier. Another one of those is All My Money, who tends to get back and run home when it's over. Back out to 1,800 metres here today. Bit of a different change with Brad Parnham riding. I thought we might get something out of her. But admittedly, yesterday I did hear Adam Durant say that Queen Nardi was the best of his runners on the program.
It was a good push, wasn't it?
It was for a lightly raced filly coming out of country racing. 6 for me, All My Money. 11, Alaskan, another one coming right up in grade. He gets some weight relief. He's racing like he wants 1,800. 2 in Speak to Me, backs up off 7 days for the sort of second week running. He's going consistently well. And 9, Kiora Jewel, love the way that she hit the line behind Bonjoy. 6, 11, 2, 9, but there's so many others here. Fat Roy Slim was eye-catching behind Odinaka. Always wary of a horse backing up off 3 days like Royal Gap. Queen Nardi given a push. Difficult race. 6, 11, 2, 9.
Santa Bray's looking as though it might need further than 1,800. A bit grindy.
Yeah, I thought he was
in its races.
A bit plain the other day.
A little bit, yeah. I agree. I think in an open affair, I'm with you. I'm 9. I'm Kia Aura Jewel. With All My Money is the danger, picking up that thread of form from Scott. And the run of Fat Roy Slim, I thought, was very good last start. It caught my attention behind Odinaka, so at, again, longer odds, sitting in that range of nearly $20 there. Fat Roy Slim has to be considered. And I put the 12 in Queen Nardi just on the basis of Adam's comments and also the fact that it had been racing so very, very well. And, she's a nicely bred filly by Adelaide. So 9, 6, 5, 12, but there could have been easily others.
9 on top, Kia Aura Jewel. From 1, Cisco Joe. I thought he just got strung up a little bit the other day when he was about to make a run. Now, he does rise in weight, but he gets the services of a senior and a decent enough gate. 11, Alaskan, and 6, All My Money. Hard race, 9, 1, 11, 6.
Certainly is an open affair, Matty.
Yep, 9, 1, 11 and 6 for Digby, and also 9, 6, 5 and 12 for Darren. 6, 11, 2, 9 for Scotty in race number 9. Race number 10 on the program at 4:58, 2,200 metres. 11 is the scratching. And at number 1, Atlantis Beach at 6:50. 2, Captain Pluto, 3:40. 3 in at Manavendra, 4:20. Down to 6 Beats of War, $3.80. And then at $10, about 4, I Love Your Smile, and upwards remainder.
Okay, well, Captain Pluto looks to go back-to-back here. Drawn wide will no doubt go back here for Chris Parnham, and does have to concede a horse who I thought made pretty good ground in the race when 3rd-2 at the last time they met in an Atlantis Beach. I just wonder if it can't turn the tables here. I know that Captain Pluto is going to be pretty hard to beat. Manavendra's going really well. Looked a very competitive race.
I actually thought Atlantis Beach was terrific the other day to get where he did at the end, given how hard he pulled in the race. So no knock there. I don't often get excited about distance races here in Perth, but I'm looking forward to this one just because a horse like Captain Pluto, who looks a stay, he looks a Provincial Cups contender. Manavendra comes out of a ridiculously fast run race and jogged up, and then you've got a progressive staying horse like Beats of War. So it's not a bad little race, this one, Scott.
Hasn't beaten much Beats of War, but it's the way it's going about that.
It was arrogant the other day.
It was.
They rode him like the best horse in a race, and he powered away from them. At the same time, if you listen to the post-race comments of Chris Parnham talking about Captain Pluto, and you look at the sectionals of that race last start, the reason Atlantis Beach was pulling was because they were walking, and Captain Pluto gets shuffled to 3 back the fence and has to pick up and sprint, which is probably not his go. More of a winding up into a momentum stayer. I actually thought today drawn out was better than being drawn in for him. I'm going to follow up. I think he's the kind of horse that can just continue to sort of work his way towards some of those country cups.
It does look like Chris and Grant Nalana could have a big day, a really big day, and I'm hoping that's the case because, like Scott, I've got Captain Pluto on top here.
Yeah, I do think that Captain Pluto's awfully hard to beat. I'm just going to give Atlantis Beach with the shades coming off, hopefully settling a bit better than he did the other day. I thought it was a phenomenal effort to run second. He gets the 2 kilos off him. I'll go that way as a half a point of difference, I suppose. But I do like the way that Manavendra's progressing along, and nothing could be argued in the same vein about Beats of War. So I think they're the 4 for me. I'm 1. It's a bit more value. It's 8 into 6.50 at the moment to beat 2 Captain Pluto, 3 Manavendra, 6 Beats of War.
2 Captain Pluto on top from 3 Manavendra. We had a good chat to Dan Pearce yesterday, and he labelled Manavendra the stable's best. So it may pay to follow Manavendra off the back of that arrogant win last start. 6 Beats of War like this horse. Darren's got himself a nice staying option. And 7 Export Man, 4th up today. Was 3rd up at 2,200. Wasn't disgraced. 2, 3, 6 and 7.
2 for me, Captain Pluto. 3 Manavendra, 6 Beats of War. A couple of interesting riding choices here. Clint Johnston-Porter looks to have chosen Manavendra over Beats of War.
Yep.
And has Stevie Parnham chosen to ride Sluice Box over Atlantis Beach? That's an interesting one as well.
Yeah.
2, 3, 6 and 1.
Probably not the worst of them, Sluice Box either. Again, you could have included, I think, amongst the exotics there in a very open affair once more.
2, 3, 6, 1 for Scotty, 2, 3, 6 and 7 for Digby, 1, 2, 3, 6 for Darren. On to race 11, penultimate event for Morley Growers Market, handicap 1,200 metres. Number 2, Premium Choice, 5.50, 3 Cashaway, 11, 4 Red 53, 3.90, 6 Hint of Mint at 8.50, 7 Featherweight, $11, 9 State of Power, 8.50, 10 Harmika at $7. Wide open race again.
Yeah, it doesn't get much easier as we dig further and further into this quaddie, Diggs.
It's a good race, this. It's a good race. You've got multiple horses, 7, I think, coming out of that race where Premium Choice was very good for Tony Triscari and Joe Azzopardi. Paul Harvey takes over today. Now, the key point, I think, with Premium Choice when you're looking at his prospects is now this is 1,200 as opposed to the 1,000 metres where he has won on 4 occasions. Scott and I were talking off air earlier this morning about Red 53, and You just don't trial like he did and not run well. It's just impossible. It was an electric trial from a horse who, if I'm not mistaken, Scott, looked like he had earmuffs on as well in the trial. Boy, oh boy, he caught the eye. It was terrific. He
was just ambling around and they ran time. He can go back, he can go forward. If we get to this stage of the day and that sea breeze does arrive and they are swooping down the centre, they can ride him cold. If it doesn't turn up, they can ride him positive. They had the option, I believe, also of maybe aiming this horse up at the Bluff Knoll, and they thought, no, we'll go this way. We don't want to burn too many points. I think Grant and Alana are of the view that this horse is ready to go through his grades and pick a few of these nice, 6 and 7 furlong races off.
I think he's one of the genuine winning chances in the race. I think there are quite a few, though, at the same time, and the one that I'm going to probably land on is coming out of, I think, a little bit better company, and Hint of Mint. Beautifully drawn. It's a value play. It's around $8.50 still in the market, and I think that she's going terrific, where she finished within a length and 3/4 of Storm Chaser 2 runs ago at this journey, and then ran fourth in the Miss Andretti. Her numbers were impressive, to say the least, after being back nearly last on the corner behind Wild Bell. There's a bit to like about the way that she's going. I don't think she's any good thing, but I think if you're looking for one that you want to back again for a bit of value in one of those races, then maybe at $8.50 that could be attractive enough.
Yeah, she's in my numbers. I thought if there was to be an upset, it could come in the form of featherweight, which just held up a little bit early in the straight, first up over 1,000. It just looks like he's going to get the conditions to suit today as well. He'll park off them and come with a run, and I suspect there'll be a few like that. But
Cashaway fits that.
Yep, he does.
Exact theory.
Yes, he does.
The back, getting a bit of cover, toe into the race, can get to the line hard.
And he was first up, no trial, so you'd think he'd be fitter. 4, 7, 6, 10 for me. Red 53 from 7, featherweight 6, Hint of Mint, and 10, Harmika. CJP reunites with this mare. 4, 7, 6, 10, Scott.
That's my concern with Hint of Mint. I love her race form, but if we're talking about Seabreeze swooping down the centre, then from 3 back the fence, where does she get the gaps? 4, Red 53 should be steaming home. That trial was sensational. 10, Harmika, CJP back on, punters back on. She was fair last start.
Yeah.
Barrier number 1 maybe didn't suit her, and he gets back with the preferred rider. 2 in premium choice, 1,200, maybe a bit of an unknown for him, but he can stay away from the inside. And 3, Cashaway, similarly charging down the centre. 4, 10, 2, 3.
Yeah, I think in trying to hold the advantage of barrier 1 in that class, she was just ridden a little bit too close out of her comfort zone, didn't have that same dash as when she can park off them. I know that she does need a bit of luck from time to time. When she gets it, she's very, very good. So, look, she's not beyond the realms, that's for sure. I'll go, it's an each-way tip. 6, Hint of Mint from 3 in Cashaway for those reasons I touched upon. I think it could be a similar situation there with him running on after getting a bit of cover there and the conditions suiting. 4, Red 53 and 2, premium choice. 6, 3, 4, 2.
Okay, 6, 3, 4 and 2 for Darren. 4, 7, 6 and 10 for Digby. 4, 10, 2 and 3 for Scotty in race number 11. On to the last at 6:09, 1,400 metres here. And this is a very wide open race. Looking down the page at your main players, 1, Brave Ventures, 6.50. 3, the Spruker, 10. $13 Blazing Tycoon, $3.20 about Fluoro Neuro. At $12.08 Secret Identity. Number 10 Flashmax, $9.50. The 13 Keep Attacking at $11, and it is incredibly wide here. Another field job, Scotty?
No, not for me. In fact, in this last leg, I'm going to take 2 horses. I'm going to take Fluoro Neuro and I'm going to take Brave Venture. And I'm going to cross my fingers that we get through the last. Fluoro Neuro's last run was unbelievably good, especially when you consider that the winner of that race was on top of the speed. He was very much like Comic Hero that day. He just got to the line when he probably had no right to, and today he should get much better conditions for it. Brave Venture had an apprentice rider last start, just runs for Paul Harvey, and held his own behind a Spreegar, Son and Co., which is good enough form. And from there, I was happy enough to leave it at that and see how I go here.
Yeah, I think the 2 horses that I'm going to follow into the race, Fluoro Neuro, because of barrier 13, has to go back, and you've got a big field. It's not as though you can round up, and I know it was a field of 15 last start, got around them there, terrific performance. But I think the key to this race could be the return of the Pontiff back into the saddle on Brave Venture. He just has an affinity with this horse. Goes so well for him. And the pendulum swung with one ahead of 7 in the last for the day, Scotty, so slightly different to you, but the same too. Diggs?
I'm really keen Fluoro Neuro. As I said a little while ago, I'm thinking Chris and Grant Alana could have a big day and they can finish the meeting in a bit of a flurry. And I'm thinking Fluoro Neuro, if he is able to retain that form, retain that level of acceleration from what we witnessed there late last month, awfully hard to beat. So Fluoro Neuro on top from 11. He's gold. Blinkers back on. Gate to jump and run, and that's what this horse does very well. 1, Brave Venture. Clearly the addition of Paul Harvey is significant. And 10, Flash Max. Things just didn't go right first up. He's better than that. Very keen though. 7, Fluoro Neuro. 7, 11, 1 and 10.
Okay, you've called the tenner Forgive. The first up run there of Flash Max, and included He's Gold with the blinkers back on, which has been a successful move in the past. So on 1, Brave Venture, 7, Fluoro Neuro. I'm going to include Blazing Tycoon in my trifecta play, and maybe, just maybe, from a complete roughies point of view, getting a soft run, Birdie Eagle, maybe. But then again, I could have included Flash Max. You could have also stuck with a bit of luck without Reg there. He's Gold. You name them there. So, Scotty, your numbers?
Another one there. I thought Mojo's Lux trial was really good behind King Cruiser. 7 for me, Fluoro Neuro. 1, Brave Venture. I thought that they were the two that got their chance to run over them. 10 in Flash Max, forgiving of the first up run. And 4, Blazing Tycoon. Agree, he's going particularly well. 7, 1, 10 and 4.
There you have it, folks. After 12 races, we'll try and find a best. There's plenty to choose from.
Can we just get a recap of your numbers there, please, Darren?
Can indeed. There, the last, Matty, it'll be 1, 7, 4, 2.
1, 7, 4 and 2, and 7s for Digby and Scotty. 7, 11, 1, 10, 7, 1, 10 and 4. Now, boys, 12 races. Surely there's a best bet that's standing out to you today.
Oh, that's easier said than done from that side of the desk, Matt. Diggs, do you have one?
Oh, yeah, but I'm going to be patient. I'm going to put Fluoro Neuro on top at a little bit of a price, thinking he's awfully hard to beat. So race 12, number 7. And off what we've seen previously and the fact that she comes out of a slick trial, race 4, number 3, Golden Veil.
Okay, thank you. Scotty.
Race 8, number 7, Comic Hero. I think gets his chance today.
Comic Hero, yeah, I tend to agree. I think that Comic Hero in the 8th is certainly most appealing. I'm going to go just a little earlier than that, though, and I'll probably pinpoint Curramundi because I think the pattern is going to suit him down to the ground today, and he did it so well against the pattern last start, and I think is going well enough in the small field will suit Curramundi. So maybe at the $2.50, he's still there in that market, and favourite for that particular race. I'll make him my best for the day, but there's a fair bit of value around, and I think if you can find a few winners on a big program, a marathon card like this today, then you're certainly well in front of things and on the right side of the ledger.
Okay, good luck to the Bunbury Turf Club tomorrow.
Massive day down
Massive day at the Breeders.
Breeders Stakes Day, 11 events.
It's actually 19 races today because there's 7 out of Esperance.
Correct way.
To bet on as well.
Mm-hmm. Esperanza. Yeah. Have you got one for the Bay of Isles or not?
Yes, I think that Uncompromised can win again. It's in the last.
All right, then we'll have a little look at the final event on the card then in regards to Uncompromised. It's 8 minutes after 9 o'clock. Inside Running today, as always, brought to you by Top of the Ladder Gutter Cleaning. Thanks to Diggs Beacham and Scott Embry. We have got a monster day ahead of us today. Scotty, you'll know you've earned your wages this afternoon with the rest of the team.
I'll see you in the mounting yard in 90 minutes.
Yes, we'll be there heading off direct from the studios of Osborne Park. Thanks for your company this morning, everyone. Hopefully there is a few winners amongst those selections. And a big thanks to Matty Young also for being part of the team this morning with all of the Tab Touch information.